Please note, competitive flooring products with different product constructions and attributes are also installed in both manufactured homes and RVs. The techniques and recommended Congoleum repair products that we will demonstrate may not be suitable and are not recommended for use in repairing competitive products.
If you damage the floor significantly by someone perhaps dropping something on the floor, and if it was just a small gouge like that, you could probably repair that with the seam sealer, as we did with this small spot that we just did a minute ago. But let's say the piece is missing. That presents a little bit different repair section. In order to accomplish this repair, we use a product that we're going to show you that is called Bond and Seal, and it does exactly that. It works as a very acceptable and very credible way to repair the floor with a product that does exactly what it says. It bonds and seals, but you need a corresponding piece of material to do that. You can harvest a piece of material possibly from under a counter, taking a drawer out, or you could get it from a closet and then offer to put maybe a piece of carpeting in the customer's closet. But after you get you a piece of material that corresponds with the area that you're going to repair, you need to square it off here. And we use the word key it in. I would simply take the material and find spots on here with this hook blade that I can cut it to see where it lines up. And once I get it lined up to correspond with the damaged area below, I would simply tape it in position so that we can cut without it moving. It's not like we have to put a lot of tape on here, but this will keep it secure. But you also need to one of the easiest ways to determine where the damaged area is by taking a smaller piece of tape and determine the spot. One of the ways I like to do this is to put my thumb here, and once I know where that's at, I'll mark it. Then I'll continue to just tape it down a little bit to hold it in position. And we've learned that if you cut using a triangle rather than a square, 3 sides are much easier to hide than 4 sides. So another way to frame this out so that you can see your cuts, this is not mandatory, but if you frame this out with a piece of tape, you can see where your cut marks are as you're doing the procedure. And then you're simply going to take a small framing square, and with enough pressure you're going to cut perpendicular with your blade. You don't want to cut at an angle, you want to cut this perpendicular. We could make it much smaller, but for the demonstration, we'd like to show you that you're going to apply enough pressure to get through both wear layers. And we generally leave the tape on it so that we can locate this piece in case someone helps you move it. It's easier to find it later if you leave the tape on here like this. So you're going to cut, again, with enough pressure to cut through both wear layers. You remove the section. I'll simply discard this. And as I said, I'll leave the tape on this so I can find it. And then we'll take this damaged section out. If I did not complete my cut, I wouldn't necessarily just grab that and pull that out. It would be better to take your blade and simply complete that cut perpendicular until you could easily remove it without damaging the area. The Bond and Seal can be applied either with the blend stick that we provide, or you could use a putty knife or a piece of material. This is a very unique product. The industry's asked for something like this for many years. It dries hard, it dries clear. We've rated it for double digits below 0 and as much as 158 degrees Fahrenheit. And to date, with about 6 years, or maybe 5 years with this product, we've never had a failure. And that's really nice to report. But it's easy to work with. There's a couple ways to put this under the floor. You want to apply it generously under the floor, and you could put it right directly on the decking, or you could apply it this way by putting it underneath and bringing it off. But your objective is you want to be able to see it squeeze out. If you don't see that squeeze out, you should actually raise it and put a little bit more under here. It is water soluble. It dries clear and it dries hard, and as we've said just a second ago, it does an outstanding job to repair the floor. So after we've applied an adequate amount, we'll simply push some of this back out into the opened area, remove some of the excess here, leave some on the decking, cap off the material. Then you'll take your repair section, remove your tapes, and you'll cup this or bend the corners down. It's really only going to fit in here one way, so you'll bend the corners down and insert your repair piece. And then you want to take a terry cloth towel. You can get it a little damp if you want to at first, but it's easier to go ahead and take a steel seam roller. A steel seam roller is going to apply adequate pressure to actually really smooth this out well. You want to make sure that you apply adequate pressure so you get smooth action and you're actually dispersing the bond and seal underneath the floor. Incidentally, this could be done if this was a fully adhered floor. You'd simply take your repair section out, apply the bond and seal, and then insert the piece on a fully adhered floor as well, so it works with both installation applications. So you want to roll this well. Get your tools out of the way. Bring a terry cloth towel. You really don't want to use a paper towel now. You want to use a terry cloth towel that's damp. Clean the bond and seal off the surface of the flooring. And then come back with a dry terry cloth towel and pretty much chamois that off nice and clean. And we've had a really tremendous amount of good feedback on this to perform a great repair section.